need to turn the mic on. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm going through a VPN, so there may be a little bit of lag because VPN, Discord blocked in my country. So anyway, how's everybody doing? All 10 of you. I didn't expect many to be on, to be fair, because we're just going to have a chat. That's all we're going to be doing, guys. So, I mean, what let me just, so the people on Discord can hear me. Hello, the people on Discord. How are you all doing? Hang on a moment, because nobody can hear you. So, just got to stick that on as well. Okay. Say hello again, please, on Discord.
Hello, this is Guy from Deep Nuts.
There we go. Discord is working. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, we're going to talk about a couple of things. Let's not kid ourselves. There's been a big hoo-ha, kerfuffle, whatever you want to call it, about rigged MM, because the US patent for Wargaming's MM, dated way back in 2012, is sort of doing the rounds, as it normally does every now and then. And a video was done on it, and a far more successful YouTuber than me, let's be honest. And that's generated a lot of traffic, number one. And number two, I wanted to look at it from my own perspective as a lawyer, because I'm a pain in the ass like that. So I did that, trying to sort of dispel some of the myths. And then I did a follow-up video yesterday. The reason being is because I did a stream the other night and I jumped into a particular tank, and I basically had 6 straight losses. And people were saying, oh, it's the MM, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think it is, okay? But that's just my view. It's my opinion. I'm not saying you have to share my view or my opinion. And the reason I thought I'd do this Blitz chat stream was for you to have your views, your opinions heard and put out there, because as I said in some of my videos, it doesn't matter how many videos I do on the subject, if you are convinced that the MM is rigged, or if you are convinced that the RNG is rigged, or whatever, then nothing that anybody is going to say or do is going to convince you otherwise. It's just the way life works, guys. But what I thought I would do, instead of everybody sort of getting on to sort of angry mode in YouTube comments, is give you all a platform so you can have you can share your views, share your concerns. So that's the main topic. The other topic I wanted to address is the other hot topic, basically, and that involves the migration from the CIS server to the EU. And there's been a lot of misunderstanding about what's going on there. So again, I just want to throw it out there and let's have a chat about it. Let's get some of the things off our chest, the things that concern us, the things that annoy us, etc., etc. Because you know what, as they used to say in the old BT adverts, it's good to talk. So that's where we're at. So there's only 9 people watching. Make that 8. Hey. It's probably the wrong time of day, and I've only got like 3 other people. Yeah, I've only got 3 other people. Hang on. I've only got 3 other people in Discord, but hey, I don't really care. It's not about It's not about quantity. It's about quality. Yeah, that's the main thing. And that's the whole idea of everything. So, taking into account that the first topic that we are going to explore is MM. Anybody out there got any queries, got any questions, got anything they want to say about it? Let's open the floor up.
Personally, not me, because yesterday I was like playing mad games all the time, and I was even platooning with a friend of mine, Kagari. He was trying to get the I-7 to 100% crew, and we're just spamming tier 10. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play the E100 because it has the invisibility build, And what I did was just ram people.
Okay, so that's got really nothing to do with the MM.
Yeah. The matchmaking in there is pretty basic. if we're talking about the radio matchmaking, if I just boot up a game right now in the E100, I'm just gonna probably see people from the CIS server, and I'm probably not gonna regret it.
Yeah, well, you know, you're going to get that. But, I mean, look. If you are seriously one of those people that seriously, 100% truly believes that the MM is totally, utterly, completely rigged against you, then I'd like to know. Because I'd like to know what brings you to that conclusion. Forget all the YouTube videos and all the conspiracies out there. What brings you to that conclusion? Okay, and what I'm interested in is, you know, if you really believe that, have you undertaken any kind of data study to support your view? And you know, because I think these things are important. As I said, I mean, look, I'm a great believer in facts, and if I've got no smoking gun or nothing really pointing me firmly in a direction that X, Y, or Z is happening, then I will sit there and I will think, well, you know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, just the roll of the dice. And I have undertaken one of these exercises. Every Good Name is Taken wanted to do one a couple of years ago. So I jumped in, and I was one of many individuals who jumped in on his little sort of project. And after 100 games, it you know, I'll be honest with you, it was balanced. The teams were balanced. There were some games whereby, you know, we shouldn't have won and we won, and there were some games whereby we should have won and we lost. And that's generally been my view on it. Now, let's just dispel a couple of myths, okay? Number one, how does the MM actually work? Well, if you go and have a look at the actual patent, okay, what the MM does, okay, forget all the technical jargon in there, because this document is incredibly old. It's incredibly old. You know, the only premium tank, it's tier 10, okay, it's only got heavy tanks, number one. And I think the only premium tanks they've got listed is the Louver and the IS-6. So that goes to show how old the document is. It predates Blitz. That's how old the document is. So that's number one. And what the document actually says is the following. Guys, we are going, you know, we will place you in a queue and assign you to a battle based on the class of your tank and the tier of your tank and the type of your tank, okay? And a lot of ooh-ha has been made over this winning and losing queue scenario. Now, go back to what I just said. It's a very old document, and there's only a couple, and I literally mean a couple, of, I mean, let me, I've got the document up. Let me just put the document in here so you can see it. But they list the tanks, and it's not the best view, I admit. But if I zoom in, which I think I can do here, let me have a look. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So if I zoom in, it's got premium tanks. Okay, the biggest two premium. There are only three big premium tanks in the top tiers. That was the Louver, the KV5, and the Type 59. Okay, so that was it. That was the three premium tanks at the time of this document. And then if you go down one tier, you then had the M4A2E4, the T14, the Churchill, and the T1 Heavy. Okay, but they were that's tier 5, so you only had 3 tanks at tier 8. Okay, so what that winning losing queue was about is that if you've got everybody playing the Louver, okay, then the algorithm will check to see how many, you know, how successful people are being in that tank effectively. And then they will put it into a more challenging game. It's not necessarily you, the player, or you, the individual, okay? The way I read it, anyway. But a lot of people are really thinking that it means them. As if Wargaming has got, you know, has got all you guys in you know, they've got Blitz stars running at the time. Now, just to satisfy your own curiosity, because we all complain about the servers. Yeah, we all say, oh, the servers are lagging, it's ping issues, there's these issues, there's those issues. So I just want to give you a basic why my logic takes me down a certain road, okay? Because at this moment in time, okay, I'm going to look at the EU server. It's a Saturday, okay? It's a Saturday, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Central European time, and at this moment in time, according to the game, there are 12,653 people on C1. I don't know how many is on C0, I don't know how many is on C3, and I certainly don't know how many is on C4. But there are 12,650 people on C1. So you're telling me that Wargaming have implemented a dedicated server software somewhere that is going to track all 12,672 players on C1 on top of the additional players on C0, C2, C3, C4, whatever. I can't believe it. I don't believe it. Because that is just fanciful, in my opinion. You know, that's just taking it a little bit too far. Now, I think they'll track the tanks. But as I said, back in those days, there were only 3 premium tanks in Tier 8, which was the top tier when that document came out. So you've got to take these things into account, yeah? It does feel like the MM is going to be against you. It really will. And I rolled out in a few games the other night, and as I said, I couldn't win a game in the Louvre for love nor money. However,
Yeah, you did say that in your video, which I did watch.
but the thing about that session, it wasn't the tank. The tank didn't let me down. In some games, I let myself down. In some games, my teammate and myself let ourselves down. And in other games, you know, the team just didn't perform for one reason or another. That is going to happen. It's a game. Not everybody is going to roll up and play their A game. Not everybody is going to have a stable internet connection. I mean, I sit in Dubai, okay? And my internet connection to the EU server is like, way. And I play anywhere between 115 ping to 250 ping. It depends on how good I am that day. You know, how good my internet is being that day. And that doesn't even account for the package loss. And everybody gets loss. 1%, 2%, whatever. So not everybody has got a stable internet, number one. Not everybody has got a brilliant device. Georgie, my kid, he started playing on a very old Samsung tag, okay? And that tab was terrible. You know, he put all the graphics up number one, which made the game lag to high heaven. And then it was an old tab, and it was struggling anyway, okay? And his gameplay was terrible because he was inputting something, and because the tab wasn't great, etc., etc., it seemed to be taking an eternity to then affect anything on the game. I'm now giving him an iPad, and it's improved no end. I mean, he's no longer struggling with that respect. So there's a lot of factors that kick in on why players play the way they play. Okay? So it's not just, hey, I'm losing, therefore MM is against me.
Some people believe that's true. I don't believe that.
No, I mean, but this is in Solace. You say that. Soil's phone. You say that. You say no one complains about MM when they win, which is particularly true. And Numfinger saying, you know, he believes that MM is completely random. And see Neon Blitz. Hello, by the way. And hello, Andy, also. But I'm interested to know, because I've seen a lot of comments have come onto my video saying, oh, no, it's certainly rigged. It's 100% rigged. And you're now just doing a promotional propaganda video for Wargaming, which is like, I don't think so, guys. You know, I'm just throwing it out there.
It's definitely not.
You know, just because somebody who's more successful than me on YouTube has said X, doesn't mean to say X is correct. Okay, there's a lot of factors following X, and you know, I mean, Look, I don't put out videos for clickbait. I don't put out videos to do drama. I put out videos to try and help the community. It's as simple as that. Okay? And I said in my video yesterday, look, if you are 100% utterly convinced the MM is rigged, there's nothing I can do that's going to change your opinion. Not a thing. Bugger all. And the best advice I can give you, if you really are that convinced, is stop playing the game and go and do something else. Because
Wow.
you're not.
I'm amazed that George is. Hold on, Future. Sorry for interrupting. I just look at George's tanks and he's already at tier 9.
Yes, he is. But we'll get into that in a minute. So, I mean, and that's
Yeah.
not me being flippant, guys. That's me saying you really are a lost cause, because if you are convinced that the MM is rigged, if you're convinced that RNG is rigged, okay, then you're not going to enjoy the game. It's as simple as that. You're going to be angry, frustrated, annoyed, and pissed off generally. And that's not the purpose of the game. The purpose of the game is to have fun and enjoyment, yeah? So if you're one of those people who are utterly convinced, then, you know, if you're on a Windows-based platform or Android, then tank company's out. By all means, go and change over there. And stop beating yourself over the head about Blitz. There's no point. There really is no point, is the honest answer. And I shouldn't say that as an official CC, but I have to say that as a player myself, because seriously, you're gonna hurt yourselves eventually. You're gonna make your head bleed and your brain hurt, because you're just gonna be thinking every time you roll out that Wargaming has got it in for you and that the MM is rigged. And if that is the case, then there's nothing I can say that will make you enjoy the game and move you away from that. If, however, you don't wish to leave Blitz and you enjoy the game, then stop saying the MM is rigged. Just deal with the situation. That's number one. Or secondly, just look at it from a different perspective. If you're in a losing streak, okay, drop down a tier, or go up a tier, change the tier, change the classification of the tank. If you're playing a heavy tank and you're losing and you're in tier 8, drop down to tier 6, play a medium tank, and it may change different to you. If none of that works, stop playing. Go and get a cup of tea. Go and have a look at the beautiful world outside for 20 minutes, and come back later, and you'll probably be on a different cluster, and you'll be better for it, believe me. So that's all I wanted to say. Hello, Yoda. How are you doing? Yusuf, hello. I forgot to say hello. It is World of Tanks PC. It isn't Blitz. That is true, Yoda. It was released. It was actually released in the US in 2012. That was when it was applied. Okay, but it was actually created sometime in 2011. To be honest with you, and remember, 2009 is the official release date of World of Tanks, but it was only released on the CIS server. My understanding is it didn't hit until sometime 2010, maybe 2011, on NA and EU. So, there's only so much you can take from a document. And it's only the US patent. It only applies to North America. It doesn't apply to Europe. Okay? You can't run around saying, hey, I've got a patent in America. My stuff is protected. Because in Europe, they'll say, that's in America. You can't enforce it here. Go away. Because different jurisdictions, yeah? So don't read so much into it. But seriously, if you've done a study, if you've looked into it in deeper depth, and you've done that baseline, and then you've gone out and you've done an in-depth study on MM over X amount of battles, then by all means share your information. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear. And until then, I'm convinced it's a bit of two things. Okay, one, it's luck of the draw, and two, it's bad luck. You're going to get good teams. You're going to get bad teams. Simple as that. And we have not got a skill-based MM. It's not skill-based. So you can roll out in a team filled with unicums, all 70%ers, against a team filled with complete and utter potatoes, and all at 35%. That can realistically happen, but it doesn't. Okay, but it could. And what the MM tries to do is tries to balance it, and it doesn't look at your skill, doesn't look at your experience. It just looks at the tanks you're in and allocates on a queue basis. So that's my views. What are your views? Come on. Somebody out there must say, yeah, I totally agree with the video where it was rigged, because to be fair, that's two super unicums in that video. With the greatest respect to them, they are both they're both super unicums, and they're both saying, as far as they're concerned, it is smoking gun, done deal, 100% evidence that the MM is rigged, and that Wargaming are trying to shaft each and every one of you. Now, seriously, this is a serious question. I'd like to know, does anybody out there really, honestly, 100% believe that? This is not, by the way, to belittle that YouTuber or create drama. This is a serious question. You're the community. We're just YouTubers. We all have our own bloody opinions. Hang on a minute, my wife. Where's Georgie? Georgie is downstairs watching. Okay? Leave Georgie out of this, wifey. So, don't worry, he's not playing. So, this is not to create drama or anything like that. This is just to throw it out there, because I've seen so many comments saying, yeah, I totally get it. Thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for highlighting it. The thing is rigged. So that's why I'm putting it out there, because I have my view, and I'm a great believer in debate. My debate, I'm a lawyer. I'm a great believer in, if you've got an opinion and you're prepared to stand by that opinion, and you're prepared to argue that opinion with valid arguments, not just I've been in the losing queue for the last 7 battles, then that's lovely. That's brilliant. That's what I want to see. But at the moment, nobody's doing that. I don't know why. So again, throwing it out there. Anybody else got any views on MM? Come on, somebody has.
I personally don't have any right now.
So Yoda's saying, I don't believe it's rigged. If it was rigged, they would not have a good win rate. Well, there is that. And that's a good point, Yoda. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Guys, if you have got, a light blue to purple win rate, then if you really believe that the MM is rigged, then I can question your skill level. Yeah? I can turn around and say, well, you've got no skill. Because you have benefited from rigged MM. Where Wargaming have, by your own admission, Wargaming have purposely put you in a queue of potato players. So you're not really a super duper unicum. And it's not your skills on show. It's just the fact that Wargaming have got nice to you on the grounds of your rigged MM. Is that can I say that? Of course I can. Because that's the flip side to this coin. Okay, there are two sides to this coin. I keep losing. I'm a 40% win rate player because the MM is rigged. And I keep getting put in teams that are just constantly trash. Compared with, I'm a super duper unicum because I keep winning, and I keep winning not because I've got skill, but because MM is rigged and they keep putting me into the winning team. What is the problem with it? I mean, you can't have one without the other. You understand that? You can't say MM is rigged because I keep losing without saying, by its very own design, oh, by the way, MM is also rigged because I keep winning. So what is it? I don't understand this whole argument. And if the argument really is, it doesn't require skill. It is pay to win. The more premium tanks you play, the chances are you're going to get put into a better queue. Then, I'm sorry guys, I have to question your skill level. Because you're telling me that your skill level doesn't count. Your skills don't count. Your ability to think through the game doesn't count. It's all based purely on rigged MM. So, sorry. I just, this is the thing. I mean, I just don't understand. So, I mean, what do you think about that point at the end of the day? Am I able to now question certain Unicum's skill level on the grounds that it's not really based on skill, it's based on rigged MM, which is what's been alleged now. I think I'm entitled to do that, am I not? Let's have a look. Yusuf, if someone is constantly losing and proceeds to throw the blame onto the MM, they think they might need to take a look at themselves first and see what errors they're making before they stop pointing. It's very true. It's very true indeed. But we're always going to point at things. RNG, they've got a smasher. They've got an annihilator. Or that tank is OP. And, these are all excuses. All excuses.
But honestly, if somebody thinks that the smasher is OP, they think it because they were playing with it a few times.
Ashley.
But if somebody is playing against the smasher millions and millions of times, they would be think, okay, I'm just up against the smasher again. I don't think that thing is OP. It's just average.
I don't think the smasher's OP
For me,
at all.
basically, I've played against smashers, I've played against annihilators, and I don't think those things are OP. They're just basic, over the line, premium tanks that Wargaming gave out over the years. Well, the smasher is a collector, but I still count it as a premium.
Look, but there are certain tanks in the game that are powerful in one attribute or another. And it's let's not beat around the bush. At the end of the day, the smasher and the annihilator are powerful tanks, okay? In the right hands, they are devastating in the right hands. If a good player in a smasher, a very good player, a super unicum in a smasher, can dominate and decimate the battlefield. Same with the annihilator. But that's the same with most tanks, okay? I mean, I can put the best player in Blitz. Let's take Uffinjosh from a previous RU. I think he's still on RU, I'm not sure. Let's take Uffinjosh, who's at the moment seen as one of the best players in Blitz, if not the best player. Let me take him. If I stick him in an Electo, trust me, you'll think that the tank needs its armor nerfed. It hasn't got any armor. It's the same if I put, the Honor into a great tank or whatever. You'll think that these crap tanks that they're playing need some kind of nerf when they don't. They're just being played by very, very, very good players. And I'll give you, I'm picking on some great players there. If you ever want to see, go to watch his Royal Fatness when he streams, and you will think that every tank he jumps into is OP. Because he can make most tanks at tier 10 sing and dance to his tune. Does it make the tank OP, or is it the player inputting the controls that makes the tank what it is? This has always been a fine line for me, because I like to think that the player brings a lot to the game, and it's not just the tank, and it's not just the MM. Yes, RNG is RNG, okay, but RNG is the same for everybody. So I don't know on this one. But if you watch his Royal Fatness, he can make a lot of tanks sing. He really can. Hey David, hey Kerfuffles. Hey Netforce.
Yeah, basically the way it was said that the Smasher is just a KV2 at tier 7.
It is a KV2. To an extent. I mean, it's got a faster reload.
Basically like the stock turret of a KV2, but you don't have that like triangle at the back of the turret, so you just saw that off.
No, but you do have trolley. You do have trolley armor on the Smasher compared to the KV, and you do have a faster reload, and it is a faster tank overall.
And you also have heat rounds, of course.
Yeah, so it is a little bit different to a KV2 parameter wise, but that's no different to most premium tanks. I mean, the Cromwell B is different to the Cromwell in the tech tree.
Yeah,
the Panzer IV Star Chaser is a better tank than the Panzer IV in the tech tree. Believe me, it really is.
Which one? The Panzer?
The Panzer IV Schmautern is a much better tank.
Oh, the Panzer IVS with like the top turret of the Panzer.
Exactly.
That's what it basically looks like to me.
But this is what they do. I mean, premium tanks. Premium tanks.
Yeah, now I have another subscription to another like meme-ish tank, which is a Nightmare.
Yeah.
And some people are like, okay, this thing is. I don't believe that the Nightmare is better than the Gargoyle. I mean, I'm gonna have both, and both of them might seem fun because the Gargoyle sort of has trollish armor, and it has a derp gun, like a 10.5 centimeter gun.
Okay. Hang on a minute, Layla, you can't be a mod. I can't make you a mod. That would be like a double kick in the teeth. I mean, if you want to be a mod, I can make you one, and hopefully it won't change your status, because you're a member and you need to have your member status shown. So that's why I've never put you as a mod. But now you are, and if it changes your status, I'll be very upset. To be honest with you, I really will.
I mean, I think it does, but I'm not sure.
No, I hope it doesn't. It
No, it
does.
doesn't.
Oh, no, it does. It changes her to blue.
It changes the color, but you still have the image, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, well, you're a mod anyway now, so there you go. But it's now, yeah, you've still got the image, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not all tanks are OP. I do like to think that the player brings something to it. But there we have it. So, has anybody got anything to say on MM? Has anybody got any views that look, it's rigged. Here's the proof. This is what I think. Because if no one's got anything to say on that, then we'll move on to the next topic, which is always a hot one.
I mean, if I basically move into a game right now in the M5 which I'm gonna have to grind again because I want the M6 and I'm pretty close to it, which I'm gonna have to do. So, if I just boot up in a game and I see my team and after the game, I'm gonna see what win rate they have and I'm gonna believe, okay, I don't care. It's at the end of the game, I don't care if it's a win or a loss. If it's a win, I'm happy. If it's a loss, I don't care. It's all based on how you play the tank. Like, my meta is heavy tanks. Like, basically, if I boot up my filters and I put heavy tanks, 12 of them are heavies. And, like, and the other 10 are mediums. Basically, just half of them are premiums. But the Chromo B is sort of, people say, special than the regular Chromo, because you have, like, 13 degrees of gun depression.
But that's always the same, though. The premium tanks are always slightly buffed.
Slightly better than their Tetric counterparts, yeah.
Yeah, but look, they do that on purpose, okay? Because if it was exactly the same as the Tetra, nobody would buy it. So,
yeah,
at the end of the day...
So we're going to have to do something special about the Chromo B.
Exactly.
Like, if I put up the regular Chromo, it has 8 degrees of gun depression. The Chromo B has 13.
Yeah, but
now
they have to offer it out. They have to throw it out there so people will buy the damn thing. Because if they don't, then people won't buy it.
Yeah, and they did make an event, so you could. It was rush hour, of course, and you could get a free Chromo B.
Yeah, it happens. It does happen.
Yeah, it happens, and I have it, but I haven't played it yet. I've probably played like 10 or 20 battles. Yeah, only 10 almost.
It's a good tank.
It is.
But yeah, so that's it. Nobody's got anything to say on the MM. Can we put this matter to bed now? I don't want to do any more videos on it, basically. It's as simple as that. I can't be bothered. And as I said earlier, if you're one of those people who 100%, absolutely 100% believes that the game is rigged against you, then, seriously, you need to consider doing yourself a favour and maybe find a better game that you don't think is rigged, because you're just going to get frustrated and annoyed. Because every time you go out there, you're questioning your own ability. We lost because the MM was rigged. I won because the MM is rigged. I mean, MM rigging goes both ways. It doesn't go just one way. Okay, so remember that. So just be mindful of that, guys. You can't just say MM is rigged if you lose. By definition, it has to be rigged if you win also. So there you go. Right. Next topic. Woohoo! And Candy Crush is rigged. That probably is, actually. Next topic. Because, again, I've seen a lot of noise about this. And quite a few people, especially on the EU server. Now, I've seen it from both sides, actually. But a lot of people on the EU server are sort of saying, oh, the game is sort of being killed. Because of the CIS server migration. Okay? Now, a couple of things about this. Number one, in September, Wargaming said, look, if you are based in Russia or you're based in Belarus, you will not have access to World of Tanks Blitz going forward. Okay? So, you just won't have access. And if you're based in Russia and Belarus, it doesn't matter if you use a VPN or whatever, you're not going to have access to it. And you're not going to get the updates or anything like that. So there's a new game, which is the same game, just owned by a Russian company now and operated, and it's only for the Russian market, called
It was. I
Tanks.
think the company was Zvezda Games.
No, it's
If I
Leicester.
believe.
Leicester Games.
Oh,
And,
Leicester, yeah. Uh-huh.
and it's called Tanks Blitz. Okay, it's not World of Tanks Blitz. It's just Tanks Blitz. Now,
You just remove the
hang
words
on,
word
hang
of.
on, chill. Now, Tanks Blitz is only available to people who live in Russia or Belarus. It's not available to you or me if we don't live in Russia or Belarus, which also means to live in Russia, your store or whatever, your Android store, Apple, Google Play, whatever, has to be registered in that country. Okay, simple as that. So if you are not Russian, if you're not living in Russia and you're not living in Belarus, you will not be able to get Leicester Games. Okay, one of those things. If you're living in Russia and Belarus, the chances are you won't be able to get World of Tanks Blitz. Now, the CIS server itself encompassed more than just Russia and Belarus. Okay, there were people on there from Ukraine, Moldova, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Armenia. The list is quite large. So all of those countries, as of September, won't have access to Leicester Games. So Wargaming said, if you're not in Russia and you're not in Belarus, but you're on the CIS server, you can come over to EU. Simple. Now, that's caused a concern both ways. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It's caused a concern both ways. It's caused a concern from the EU side, saying we've been flooded with all these Russians, and they're not Russian, by the way, most of them. The vast majority are not Russian, they're other nationalities. Number one, we've been flooded with all these Russians, and number two, we've been flooded with terrible gameplay. Okay, so that's from the EU side. From the CIS people side, they've said, hang on a minute, I play the game in Uzbekistan. Why couldn't I go to the Asian server, which is next to where I live? I get a better connection, possibly. I don't know. Or, I have much more in common that way, blah, blah, blah. Well, apparently it would have been a ball's ache to split people up by server. Okay, it would have just been a nightmare. So what they just said was, look, come to EU. We're just going to stick you all in the EU because the EU has better infrastructure than Asia or NA to accommodate you. Okay, that's all it is. Next, I've had some of the former CIS players say to me things like, "Oh, the gameplay is terrible on EU. It's really terrible." Because, and this is the point I wanted to make to us guys on the EU server, each server has a different style of gameplay. Okay, Asia is different to NA. NA is different to EU. EU is different to CIS. They all have different styles, different tactics, and different philosophies when it comes to that. And what you're seeing on EU at this moment in time, both ways, you're seeing the former CIS players coming with their CIS server mindset and that gameplay, which differs from the EU mindset and their gameplay. So EU players are struggling to get to grips in certain games because CIS players are bringing their gameplay, and CIS players are struggling because EU players are bringing their gameplay. So it's a bit of a mugger's buddle. Yeah, that's basically what it is. On top of that, everybody's complaining about the chat. Okay, because the former CIS players are talking in whatever language they're talking in. It's not necessarily Russian. It could be anything. It could be Russian, Ukrainian, anything Cyrillic. Now, think of this. Those players probably in a country that English is not one of the primary languages, so they don't speak English. And look at it from this viewpoint. Let's say the world was a reverse. It's a negative. Let's say the sanctions that have led to all this have been imposed on Europe rather than on Russia, and we have to transfer to CIS. I don't read or write. Well, I do actually, but not proficiently. I don't know enough Russian to be able to, use Cyrillic or whatever in the chat. And I would be completely lost. But there would be like-minded people from the EU server coming over, like there is here, and they will probably they'll probably like speaking English. So all of a sudden, we've got all these players coming across from EU onto the CIS server, and we're all typing away in English, and all these CIS players go, "What the bloody hell are they talking about? Why won't they ever shut up?" So it's, you've got to sort of take the rough with the smooth a little bit, and as much as it may be traumatic for us guys on the EU to have this influx of CIS, trust me, it's probably equally traumatic for the CIS guys who had no choice. They never had a choice. They were told, you're going to EU or you're not playing. It's as simple as that. If you don't live in Russia and Belarus, you want to continue playing Blitz, you go to EU server, like it or not. And I'm like, like I said, they could have been like, but I live in Tajikistan, let me go to Asia. No, you go to EU. Get your ass to EU. So be a little bit thoughtful on their view as well, because if it was us doing it, we'd be pretty miffed as well. Yeah, if we were forced to transfer over to the CIS server, or those of you out there who play EU, are based in the EU but have other accounts on NA, guaranteed some of you struggle with NA, because the NA people talk a lot. They talk a lot more than EU, and they come out with some really weird and wacky things on NA in some games that I've seen, and that's a bit of a culture shock too. So, well, yeah, I mean, Marin, well, there you go. I mean, you can't just sit here and say, you know what, everybody should speak English on the EU server, because that only 2 countries in the European Union officially speak English as their main language, and that's Ireland and the United Kingdom. All the other countries have their own languages, be that French, Spanish, Portuguese, German, Dutch, blah 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 blah. The list is endless again, and it is, it's actually an arrogant assumption that everybody should be expected to speak English, which I don't agree with. Everybody should be expected to speak in the language that they are proficient and comfortable in. Simple. And if you don't understand that, then you don't understand that. But the buttons that give you the other battle chat is perfectly adequate, although they should have reloading back. Give the reloading button back, you tight ass wads. So that's just what I wanted to say on that. So spare a thought to some of these former CIS players, because believe me, I've spoken to some of them, and they are equally as concerned. So, anybody got anything to say about the CIS migration? Come on, somebody's got to have something to say on that.
It's definitely not just for World of Tanks. They did the same for World of Tanks, but I've not seen that many CIS players on the EU server, which I play on. But I'm just sticking to the game, and nobody talks in the chat anyways. But it was a different category because people were talking different languages, and nobody can understand them. Like, I have a mind that can speak Bulgarian, a little bit of German, a little bit of Russian, and mostly English, but mostly Bulgarian and English. My Russian sucks.
So does mine. My Russian is pretty bad. Pretty ploka,
I mean,
to be fair. In
some
fact,
people
it's
can have
ploka. It's not good.
Some people can know a lot of Russian and not so much English, but they could be in the middle. They can know a lot of Russian and a lot of English. It's basically like a 50-50 or something else. But
Yeah.
this migration was all because of the special military operation that Russia decided to do, which was already, almost 8 months ago?
Yeah. Hang on a minute. What did you have? You had. Hang on. Attack tank blah. Capture the base. It was replaced with hold position, I think, David. I don't think we had hold position. And I can't remember. What's the other one? There's capture the base. Attack tank A, B, or C. Hold position, and there's a fourth one. There is a fourth one, but I can't remember what it is for the life of me at this moment in time. But yeah, it was hold position. That replaced reloading, and the reloading one I thought was probably quite a good one. Although Wargaming's argument is that there's a reloading bar now over the tank, but on the grounds that people
Yeah,
struggle.
but it doesn't show you how long it takes.
No, it
Like
doesn't.
in
But
World of Tanks, you do have the reloading, and if you're especially a tank with an autoloader and you boost out all your shells at once, you can choose to
oh, capture the
press
base.
the
Capture the
V
base is the
button.
other one. So it's attack, capture, hold. No, I'm wrong. Yeah, there's
I mean, I
there's a
wasn't
fourth
playing
one.
Blitz at that time. I was not playing Blitz at that time. I started like 3 or 4 years ago playing Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, look, people struggle to read the mini map, let alone the reloading bar
Yeah.
under the other tanks on their teams. And it's quite funny when you look at it that way. But yeah, so it was a useful button, but it's gone. It is no more, unfortunately. It is no more. But yeah, I think that one should have stayed. Is my honest answer.
Yeah. I mean, the bar which shows above
Oh
your HP,
shit!
I
Attack.
don't.
It's just attack. The
It's
fourth button is just attack, as in YOLO. So
Oh,
you've got
yeah.
so we've got
Just
two buttons.
YOLO.
We've got four buttons. One is YOLO. The other one is camp. The other one is help. Yeah, because you got help as well. The other one is help. The other one is attack tank X. The other one is capture the base. So the only ones I ever see working are YOLO and camp. YOLO, camp, capture base. Those are the only ones I ever see being used. Oh, in help. No one ever says attack tank X. They always say help. Even when the game's in the first like 2 seconds. Help! Help! That's
Yeah, you
it.
still see that happen all the time. I've seen that happen yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
I played just a few games in UI5 and I was like, okay, what is this? I always see help. I can't help. I'm on the other side of the map.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the thing. So those are the buttons.
I usually don't use the help button, but in certain occasions, they're just gonna ignore it, as I know. Like, if I just hop in a game right now in the M5, I'm personally the first thing I'm probably gonna see is help.
Yeah,
And
most likely. But I
yeah.
mean, look. I mean,
So hold
players
on,
are.
let me just hop in a game, and I'm gonna
Hang on, chill. Players are what players are. Okay, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and yeah, everybody brings something different to this game. That they all do. Some players play it because they just want a 5 minute break from doing whatever. Some players play it because they're ultra serious about it. You can't assume that everybody plays the game for the same reasons that you play the game. There are some people out there who really don't give a flying whatever about stats. They don't care about their average damage. They don't care about their win rate. They play the game because they like to roll out. They like to roll out in tanks that they've heard of, and they like to try and blast the crap out of somebody else. There are, and I would argue that a vast majority of the player base fall into that category. Okay, it's only a small proportion of the player base who are serious and they want to, improve on this, and this because they're that serious. They treat it that way, and there's a small, very very small part of the player base who just like to go AFK all the time because they're useless. So, the vast majority, I would say, are those who go out because they just want to have fun. And they just want to roll out in a tank because they like tank games. Okay, it's that straightforward, I think, and it's easy for the players who are serious. And you've got various types of serious players. You've got those who are ultra serious, and they want to be, they do the ratings every month, and they want to be top ratings every month, and they want to be in the top pro teams, and they want to do the top tours. I mean, these are serious players. They train and they do all that sort of stuff. And then you have the other serious players who've been playing for a long time, and they're looking to improve, and they want to get all the tanks, and they want to get all the aces, or they want to do this, or they want to do that because they enjoy the game, they want the challenge, and they're pretty serious about that. And then you've got the, well, we're not so serious. I just like rolling out, and I just like having fun, and I just like blowing crap up and stuff like that. And I would say that majority of people are in that category. So you have to remember that when you see players rolling out. There's no rule saying that they're not allowed. If they've played the game and they've unlocked all the tanks, then who are you to say that they can't play? I'm not that person. We are not God. We are not the Blitz police saying, "My boy, you've only got a 40% win rate. You cannot play in an E100." Because that's just BS. Although I would say for those of you who have only got like 200 battles, don't play in an E100, guys. It's not going to help. And those of you who have got a 40% win rate, do not play a Death Star. I mean, even players with 55% win rate struggle in that bloody thing, because you go from hero to zero in as many battles, So just or the Leo 1, because these are technically difficult tanks, and you're doing yourself no favours. You may be having a little bit of fun, but there can't be much fun in getting blasted in the first 30 seconds. Believe me, So if you want to play those type of tanks, just drop down a little bit and learn some of the basics, and at least you'll last longer than 30 seconds, and you'll have a little bit more fun. And people are still going to shout at you though. They're still going to call you a noob. They're still going to say be reported. So you have to deal with that, I'm afraid. So it was it? I can't remember. Was it not? It was Object 140, I think, Layla. You were in the M60, and I think it was an Object 140. So bless him. Hey, I'm old. I'm like a fine wine, old and corked. Something like that. Yeah, I'm getting a bit sort of. He was a special player, though, to be fair, Layla. Almost as special as the 704 that I had with Professor the other night. That was brilliant. Yeah, completely in a camping position and unable to get any shots whatsoever, and wasn't prepared to actually move from his perch to help in any way, shape or form. And in fact, he just waited for them to come to him to destroy him. But it was okay because he farmed damage. And that was the other thing, guys. Look, in a lot of those Louver games that we lost the other night, I saw players farming damage. Okay, now it's like this. I know there are plenty of YouTubers out there who say damage, 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 damage. Get your average damage up. Damage, 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 damage. Now, that's all very nice and well. But there's no point in you doing an average damage of 3,000 if your win rate is 40%. I'm telling you, there's no point, okay? There is no point. You need to get your win rate up first, and then your damage. Win rate, damage. Not damage, win rate. Because if your aim is to get into a top clan, and you say, hey, I've got 3,000 average damage, they're not going to take you, because you've only got a 40% win rate. So don't just farm for the sake of farming. Okay, you need to win. The purpose of the game is to win. The purpose of the game is not to get high damage. It's to win. And the only way you win is by finishing the battle with more tanks than the other side. In other words, you've killed all the tanks, or capturing the flag. That's the only way you can win. Sitting at the back of the map, farming damage as the last tank standing, doesn't win you games. May get you a draw, but it's not going to win you a game. So if you are one of those players who thinks, I've just got to get that average damage up, bugger my win rate, then trust me, there's no point having a 3,000 average damage with a 40% win rate. It's just no point in it. And there's a Peter in the house. There you go. And there you have it, look. So, yeah, well, this is the thing, Essa. I mean, you've still got to win the game. The purpose is winning the game. And as I say, as a clan lead of one of the top 8 clans on EU, you come to us with 3,000 average damage and a 40% win rate, we'll say, no thanks. It's as simple as that. You know, you need the win rate to get into a clan wars team, as well as the damage. You need both. You do need both. Well, of course, assistance damage. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, this is what separates the top players from everybody else, because the top players will get all that assistance damage. So, there you go. Oh, I thought Peter was calling me a nab then. Well, he probably was, and that's why he probably put nab in a separate line, so it covers two bases, it covers me and David, because Peter's like that. Absolutely numb finger. I'm perfectly happy with 1k damage as long as I win. Every little helps eventually. Winning is what matters. You know, I want to win. There can be no victory without sacrifice. Well, there's that as well. Sacrificing doesn't mean sit at the back and wait for your team to sacrifice themselves. Way, no Fujit bashing for a change. Woohoo! Clearly, Every's tired after his week of work. Well, it's not just about pulling your weight. I mean, I always say, look, the best that anybody on your team can hope for is play to the best of your ability. And believe me, most people have the ability to drive forward, point a gun in a direction, randomly in a direction that the enemy tanks are, and press a button. They may bounce, they may miss, but they have the ability to do that. Okay? So I don't believe that people don't have the ability that they have to sit at the back of the map and watch their entire team get annihilated. I don't believe that. You know? And I don't believe that, you know, people lack the ability to see that. Well, clearly they do. Because one of the biggest mistakes I see at the moment in Blitz is people getting into brawls where they don't need to be in a brawl because they're going to lose that brawl. And a prime example of that is, for example, let's take Oasis Palms, okay? So Oasis Palms, you get a team that goes into the desert and that canyon area, okay? And then both teams will brawl in the canyon area. And, you know, one team will say, we can push them because there's only two and we're four. And the team with two say, yes, we can push them because we're only two and they're four. And it becomes a nightmare and you lose the brawl. And then all of a sudden you've lost that side of the map. And all of a sudden you're being flanked. And all of a sudden you're on the back foot. And all of a sudden you're losing. And so stop brawling. You know, there is nothing wrong in turning around and running away. Run away to fight better. You know, if they've got 4 tanks on that side of the map, it means they've got 3 tanks somewhere else. So go and find those 3 and beat them up. It's simple. I don't understand why people get into brawls that they can't possibly win. I mean, some people can. They can 1v1 and do, you know, amazing stuff. But the majority of the player base just like getting into brawls that they cannot win. But that's just my view. That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, sniping is fine. There are some tanks that you have to snipe, okay? You know, I'm talking the Grilla and tanks like that. You'd be stupid not to snipe in a Scorpion G or not to snipe in an SU-130. But here's the thing about sniping, okay? In real life, when a sniper shoots, he generally relocates because people generally know where they are. So even a sniper in Blitz, snipe and then relocate to a different sniping position. That way, you become more effective. That's different to sitting at the back and just ploughing shot after shot after shot. But that's just tactics, and that's up to you how to play those tactics. You know, somebody asked me the other day how to play Tank X, and I said, well, there's no straight, hard, fast rules on how to play a turretless TD, because some turretless TDs have great mobility. And the particular tank I was playing at the time was the Kanonenjäger, or whatever it's called. Kanonenjäger Panzer. And my German is non-existent. And that thing has got good mobility and a low profile. It's like, it's like the flat Panzer. So I was running around the map like a crazy thing in that tank on Castilla and taking the battle to the enemy, because I was able to get into some effective positions. Whereas if I was in a tortoise, it would be different. And if I was in a if I was in a Jagdpanzer, it'd be different again. Or a Jagdpanther would be even more different. So, you have to know what the parameters of the tank are, because they all got strengths and weaknesses. Okay. So there's no hard, fast rule on turretless TDs. Not really. On turreted TDs, like the American line, then I generally play them like a heavy tank, because why wouldn't you? The T30 is more like a heavy tank. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. I think play the T30 like you would play, I don't know, an M103 or something. I have no clue. I mean, I play, for example, the E3 and the E4 like a heavy tank. Whereas I would never play the 183 the same way. And I certainly wouldn't play the Guerrilla the same way as that. But again, it's personal. But then again, it's like my FV4005. I used to play the shit barn like the AMX-50B. Okay, the AMX-50B is not the tank it used to be. But I still play the shit barn pretty much like I would play an AMX-50B. And I would pretty much play the AMX-50B like I play a shit barn. Because both tanks are tall, both tanks have got pretty weak armour, both tanks are prone to HE, both tanks have got 4 shells. Both tanks, can be devastating to an extent. But now they've both got 4 shells. The AMX-50B is a lot harder to play because of its interclip reload, whereas the FV has, you can drop the interclip reload consumable and make it super duper, and I think it still beats the AMX-50B on its interclip anyway. Whereas my go-to tank at the moment in Tier 10 is my go-to tank at Tier 10 at the moment for that is the T57 Heavy, because it's just a dream tank. The T57 is now the AMX-50B. Realistically, yes, that is right, Professor. The AMX takes 9 seconds to unload, which is a lot of time. And it hasn't got the consumable that the FV has, and that's its downside. Its interclip is too long, and it doesn't have the consumable to change that, and that is the problem with the AMX 50B now. And that's where a lot of players struggle in that tank. Whereas when it was a 3, it was a little bit different. Yeah, thank you, Hound you two. This is not a long stream. It was only 2 topics. We're going to do, because I'm streaming again later this evening, where I'll be giving away 2 battle passes and licenses, of course. And we're going to be doing, I think today is Uprising, and tomorrow is Mad Games and Burning Games. So yeah, I'm back on again in a fair few hours from now, actually, to do that stream. Today is Mad Games. Tomorrow is Burning. Is it? I thought I listed today as... No, tomorrow is Mad Games. Today is Uprising. Tomorrow, first stream tomorrow is Mad Games. And then the last stream is Burning Games. But today, at whatever time I've said it, is Uprising. Uprising is the first one. Yeah. I do, Layla. Bear with me. I will get that list up. I don't think there are many, I'm afraid. Definitely me. Yay. Robert is the only other one at the moment, I believe. Well, he's not. I mean, but I don't know. I think the others are still in the CIS server. I'm not sure. We have iShot, Harrington, Beast, Zoblina, but they're all on. They're all RU speakers. The only one that I know is Robert 85, the Espanol streamer, the Spanish streamer, who's a great lad. He's streaming. And he's streaming today. He's doing. No, is he streaming today? I haven't seen his link. Somebody's streaming today, other than me, but they're streaming on RU. I think that's RU. I'm not sure. It can't be RU, can it? Because it's now Leicester Games or whatever it is. Let me check. Let me check YouTube. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what server it is. Is the honest answer. I mean, I'm assuming it's no longer the CIS server. I'm not but it doesn't say which server it is, yeah? And on the ground, it's now Leicester Games. I'm assuming it can't be on that server. It's got to be on EU, yeah? But that is a big assumption on my part, if I'm being honest. Well, I've just clicked on one of their links. Mad Games. It's all in a language I don't fully speak. Because it's in Russian. Well, I'm assuming it's Russian. We have got. Let's have a look what he says. Does he say what server? Doesn't say what server, so I don't know. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. Let me just check Beast. I'm pretty sure he's. Let me find out. He's Ukraine. So the chances are he could be on the EU server because he's Ukraine is Beast. So he could be on the EU server. Is the honest answer. I don't know. If I'm being perfectly honest, because I don't know these guys that well. If you know what I mean. So I think Beast is Ukraine. Let me have a look at Harrington. Because again, you know, there are Russian speakers out there, or Ukrainian speakers, or whatever speakers out there. So you don't need to look at me. But Beast is definitely Ukraine. So that's number one. Harrington, I'll have a look at him and tell you where he is. Those are and Ice Shot is the other one. He's doing Mad Games as well. These are all today. Again, they're all Russian speakers, or whatever language. Could be Ukraine, could be whatever. Those are the only ones who have listed so far. And the other guys, we have. So that's Beast. He's got 280,000 subscribers. So you know he clearly knows what he's doing. This is Harrington Blitz. I don't know which server he's on at the moment. Is the honest answer. He's that's EU because I can see Swiba and Fufor. So he's on EU. So he's KGB. So yeah, I see him now. He's doing his stream right now. And the other guy is so the other guy is Ice Shot, and Ice Shot is also streaming today. And again, I do not know where he is. I'm trying to find out for you guys because you know, battle passes are battle passes, yeah. At the end of the day, so don't do yourself out of a battle pass. Ice Shot is Russia, so I don't know what server he will be, but I think Harrington. Let me have a look, because Harrington is definitely on the EU server because I've just looked, and as I said, Fufor and Swiba are EU, so EU clans, and I'm looking at his gameplay, and it's pretty straightforward that it's EU going out. And Harrington is 100,000 subscribers, and he is based. Not that it matters, because as I said, he's playing on EU. it's so difficult to get these things up and running so quickly. He is based in Ukraine. So Harrington is also Ukraine. So there you go. There you go. So Harrington is also based over in Ukraine, guys. So he's definitely be playing on EU server. And those are the only ones I know. And the only ones you'll know is I'm the only English speaker at the moment, and Robert is speaking in Spanish, Espanol, and all the rest are speaking in Russian or Ukrainian. So yes, so there you have it. Pretty sure Uprising is down for another 2 days. Then I've got them round the wrong.
Yeah,
way.
it is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
It's because Wargaming sent a request. Okay, said, "Oh, can you do these streams?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they didn't say, "Oh, you have to stagger them this way, and this way." So I'm gonna have to change it all around. Simple as that. Because we were just told they're all coming at once, yeah. And the problem I've got is this: today is the 15th of October, and there are battle passes to give away, so they need to be given away sooner rather than later. Yeah, to be honest, there's no point. No point doing a stream on a battle pass when you can't get it. So Mad Games, oh yeah. So Burning Games is tomorrow. Mad Games is today. Burning Games is tomorrow, and then Uprising is the day after. So let me just change all those around, because that's a pain in the arse, isn't it? So it'll be Mad Games today. Mad Games today, Burning Games tomorrow, then Uprising. And I didn't want to do it that way, because as I said, that puts pressure on for the Battle Pass. I mean, because it's October's Battle Pass, yeah? And we're halfway through October. Let's be honest.
Yep.
It's a bit of a pain, to be fair. It is a bit of a pain. But let me just sort this out. And anyway, so yeah, it's going to be Mad Games today.
So the question is, how is it like a giveaway with the Battle Pass?
No, there's going to be a giveaway. It's going to be a Battle Pass and license. Jzard, in answer to your question, quite a few people have done it. And one of the guys I know there are two guys I know who are very hot on this. Jalpa, if I said that correctly, who generally presents his data on the World of Tanks Blitz EU forum in his discussion boards. His name is Jalpa. And he's also the brains behind Armor Inspector and stuff like that, by the way. And obviously the other guy who used to do it was Armored Pants, and he used to put his data onto a video. So there are people out there who do it. Most of it, this is what I was trying to explain. I mean, most of it may not be on YouTube, okay? Because to get the statistical stuff out there, you've got to do a lot of battles, okay? Firstly, you've got to get that baseline, then you've got to do a lot of battles. So people generally don't want to do videos on stuff like that because it's going to be dull and boring. Whereas when people have got the ability to put their spreadsheets and everything onto the forums, that's what they used to do. Now, admittedly, the forum is not what it used to be ever since Discord came about. But if you go onto the World of Tanks Blitz EU forum, there used to be lots of threads about MM, and Jalpa used to do a lot of in-depth study on rigging. To be fair, and he used to put his findings up there, and in most of the cases, I think it looked like it was pretty balanced. But Armored Pants, I think, used to do it as well, and it has released videos on it. So if I was you, I'd check those guys out first. That's what I would do. It's easier that way, yeah. So it's the 17th of October. I've got to do that one. And it won't be at 7 p.m. It'll be at a lot later. It'll be 9:30. I have to save that. Mad Games is today then. So I'll change that one now. Ooh, that's always a pain, eh? So Mad Games will be today. That's really annoyed me because Mad Games is my least favourite. If I'm being honest. I much prefer Uprising and Burning Games. So it'll be Mad Games today, guys, and Burning Games tomorrow. So Burning Games will stay as is. There'll be no change on the Burning Games. So there we have it. That's what's happening today. Oh. Ahmed Pant's not. No, he hasn't done content for a bit. To be honest with you, but his stuff is still up on YouTube, so you can still go and check it out. In that respect. Yeah, there's no realistic at the moment. There's Mad Games, Uprising, and stuff like that. So I prefer Uprising Numping. It's my favourite of the three. Mad Games is my least favourite of the three.
I mean, they sort of like ruined the Gargoyle, honestly. Because they removed the which one was it? High octane fuel ability.
Oh, that's a shame. So we can't jump up on things anymore.
But it's still on the ML1, but.
Well, we're gonna go through these new abilities in Mad Games today now. Yeah, boss mode. I like boss mode because then I can use my boss thing, which I like.
They haven't brought it back. Maybe one day they're gonna bring it back for a third time.
Yeah, we'll see. Right.
Because one of the funniest moments I've had was when I was playing the Steerbuff Trigger, and the boss somehow pushed me in the building.
That happens, man. It happens.
And I was the boss. People had no idea how they could kill me.
I think they don't do boss mode that often because it's just. I think it just drains everything. Everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, right, we will leave it there for the time being, guys. We discussed. Well, we didn't. I talked about MM. Nobody really said anything. I talked about CIS migration. Nobody really said anything. And so we'll leave it there because there's no point just plodding along on stuff that we've discussed. Especially when I'm coming back in just over 2 hours, because if you've got questions, pop onto that stream and ask away because I'm more than happy to talk about stuff in that stream. I haven't got a problem with it at all. Right, and with that, I'm not going to take up any more of your Saturday afternoon. Go and enjoy it. It's a sunny day here, but it's always a sunny day here. Well, who am I kidding? It's bloody Dubai. Every day's sunny. So look, at the end of the day, I'll be back on in a few hours to do Mad Games. We're going to look at the new abilities. We're going to talk about that. Then we're going to play a few games. So I will have Discord up and running. So again, I will be on a VPN, but come in, jump in. Doesn't matter. I saw somebody had written in my Discord chat earlier that is anybody streaming for Asia? I don't think so. But even though I will be on EU, the battle passes are applicable for all regions. Okay, except CIS, obviously. So it's going to be applicable for NA, EU, and Asia. So don't feel that you're precluded. You can't do anything because you're based in Asia and I'm playing on EU. It's not going to work that way. You have every right to still jump in, and you can still grab a battle pass and be lucky enough to grab one of those. Okay, so don't think that because you're sitting on Asia and I'm streaming on EU, you're not going to get anything. Doesn't work that way, as I said. So, right, Mad Games is the next stream coming up in just over 2.5 hours. Got any questions or anything? Save it for then, and I'll be back again soon. Thank you every single person for jumping on board. I'm a lawyer. I like talking. Hopefully, next time we'll stir a debate. But I want to put those two topics to bed. Hopefully now, from my side at least. If anybody else talks about them, that's up to them. But as far as I'm concerned, we've kicked the arse out of both rigged MM and CIS migration. We don't need to discuss that stuff anymore, unless of course somebody wants to discuss it at another stage, but that's up to them. But I'm not going to be doing that, especially when we've got the Pro Tour season coming very soon in any event, and my time is going to be dedicated to that, moreover. So, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, guys, and hopefully I'll see you all again in a bit. Until then, have a good one, and bye for now.